Hi everybody, welcome to my home. I have been in this social distancing thing for, let's see, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, so a week. I've been basically at home, working from home, as well as my partner and our dogs. We're just hanging out at home. We bought food to last us for a while, and we're just basically doing what we've been told is stay away from people, lay low, don't go out, and we're making the best of it. So I'm working and also doing things like this and watching Netflix. And anyway, so hope you guys are doing okay where you're at. And I'm sorry for anyone that this is affecting worse and more negatively than it's affecting me. I'm just trying to make the best of it. So it's my boss loves the word unprecedented. These are some unprecedented times, and let's just get through it together. So hopefully this will help you get through it by providing a little bit of entertainment. So I wanted to talk about my trip to Europe. So I know that I did Paris already. We're gonna move on to Copenhagen, where it's the second city country that we went to in Denmark. And I loved Copenhagen so much. I loved Paris and I loved Copenhagen. Copenhagen was a huge surprise to me. I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't do a ton of research about Copenhagen before I went. I don't know why. First of all, there's not a ton of information out there about Copenhagen that I could find. And I watched some of my favorite YouTubers, travel YouTubers, their trip to Copenhagen, and some other Copenhagen videos that I hadn't, I'm not following these YouTubers, but I just watched their videos and did a little bit of research, but for the most part, I was going in pretty blind. First of all, I didn't realize that basically everyone in Copenhagen speaks English. So you can learn some Danish and they will appreciate it for sure, but absolutely everyone that we came in contact with speaks English. So we're like, oh, okay. And they don't make you feel bad if you don't speak Danish at all. Everyone that we came across were super friendly. It's a very lively city, lots of different types of people, very diverse. And we definitely heard other languages besides just Danish and English as well. So it's definitely a big city and a melting pot of different cultures. So the first thing that we wanted to do, well, obviously we checked into our hotel and we stayed at Hotel SP34. And this was a really kind of hip hotel, it seemed like. It was a really neat vibe. They had a wine hour and you could get wine for a discount. It wasn't free. It wasn't like a free wine hour, but we did do that one night and just hung out in the lobby. They had a beautiful seating area and a bar, and tons of people were down there drinking wine and just chatting and talking, and that was really fun. We didn't really talk to anybody, but just being there and drinking wine together was fun. And they had music playing. It was good. So then, sorry, my hair is getting in my way. So then we didn't actually do the wine hour the day that we checked in, but that's something we did. The first thing we did, we were super hungry and we needed dinner. So we were like, well, what do you eat in Copenhagen? And something that you eat there is, and I'm so sorry, I'm gonna mispronounce absolutely every Danish word that I speak today, and I'm so sorry if you're Danish, because yeah, I apologize. Stupid American that has no idea how to pronounce these words. And you have to admit that Danish is a really hard language to speak. So, in my opinion. So the first place, we wanted to go to a smorgasbord restaurant or a place that served smorgasbord, because that's one of the dishes that we were told you have to eat when you're in Denmark, which is basically an open-faced sandwich with either brown bread or this white bread, and they put all kinds of different things on the open-faced sandwich. We chose to go to a restaurant called Puck, P-U-K, and our waiter was super boisterous and very excited to serve us, so that was kind of fun. And he recommended we get this smorgasbord for 2, and it was this huge platter full of stuff. So there was like eggs and fish and pickled vegetables, different spreads. So they had lard and they had butter, and he was like, don't put the lard on this bread and only put the butter on this bread. There's a lot of rules to smorgasbord. He's like, this just doesn't work, and this, you have to do this and that. But we followed his instructions, and it was very delicious, I have to say. I was a little bit scared of like the fish portion of this open-faced sandwich. I like seafood, but I'm not a fan of really fishy flavors or really like salty seafood. Like if it tastes like the sea, like oysters, I'm not really a big fan, I'll be honest. But we followed all his instructions and it was delicious. So I highly recommend Puck. There's another restaurant that everybody goes to instead, and it's significantly more expensive, so that's why we didn't. Denmark is not cheap, okay? Copenhagen was the most expensive place that we went, and including Paris, by the way. It was more expensive, I found, than Paris. I guess it depends on where you go, but overall, it was more expensive. So just keep that in mind if you're gonna go. It's not super, you can be budget friendly, but it's not like Southeast Asia where you can get things for pennies on the dollar. No, it's just a more expensive country, and that's fine. It's a beautiful, super clean city, like super clean. So after the smorgasbord, obviously we slept, and for some reason I did not do a tour of our hotel room like I did for Paris, and I also did for Brussels. I don't have a picture. I don't think I have a picture. I'm gonna try and find one on the internet and insert it here if I find one, but if I don't, I'm sorry. It was by far the least comfortable bed that we slept in on our trip. It is what it is. It was not a comfortable bed. We had trouble sleeping. It was just harder than we're used to. And the bed itself was pretty small, and it was split like they do. And they were not connected. So you just kept falling through the crack, and it was just uncomfortable. What can I say? I love the Danish style. It's very minimalistic, very beautiful room. Just gorgeous, minimalistic. They used leathers and wood and white. It was beautiful, just not very comfortable. What are you gonna do? So then, let's see. We went to Nyhavn, which is the harbor that everybody goes to. It's beautiful, colorful houses. It's the Instagram paradise for Instagrammers. Obviously, we took a lot of pictures, and there was a Christmas market there at this time because we were there in late November, early December. And so there were, I think we visited two Christmas markets, maybe 3. But the Nyhavn Christmas market was by far my favorite. It was just fun to walk up and down along the canal, and there's a lot of cute shops and the best sausage place ever. The girl there was so nice.
A hot dog over there, right? One of those.
And we went there definitely 2 times, so we might have gone 3 times. I can't remember. It was so good, you guys. It was like really good. These sausages were huge and juicy, And they also had fries, so we got those once. And then next to the sausage place, there was a place where you could get glug, which is mulled wine. And then they also had hot chocolate, and you could add amaretto to it. So I did that a lot. We did get the glug, and then we pretty much stuck with amaretto hot chocolate because it was so delicious. They were putting like real melted chocolate and amaretto and milk, and it was really, really good. So highly recommend that going in the winter. The weather was not bad. It was a little bit, it rained some, and it was cold, but it wasn't like bone chillingly cold. We could walk around comfortably with our jackets, and I wore a hat one day. Yeah, but it wasn't like I didn't need to wear my gloves all the time. It wasn't freezing. It was just cold because it was winter, you know. Let's see, I have notes. That's why I keep looking down, because I can't remember absolutely everything. So we also went to the Round Tower, and I don't know if that's the official name, but basically there's this huge tower in the city that has a ramp that goes up it like a spiral staircase, but it's not a staircase, it's a ramp. And I forget exactly the reason. I know that they needed to be able to bring horses up the tower, and so that's why it's a ramp and not stairs. And in the tower, there's a cafe, and there's an art gallery, which we went to, and they had this really interesting exhibit of like shadows, like different cutouts that were creating shadows with light. It was really interesting. So I took a few videos and pictures of that. And just up in the tower itself, you get a really beautiful view of the city. And it's just interesting, the tower itself, because it's unusual to have a tower where you can climb it with a ramp. It made it really easy. So it's even like, it would be really difficult to wheel a wheelchair up there, but you could. Also at the top of it is a telescope. And there was a guy up there that was actually letting us see things, but it was super cloudy that night, so we couldn't see actual stars, but he let us see this clock tower was really far away, and he focused it in on the clock so you could see something really small, like on the clock face. I can't remember what it is, but so that was neat. It would be really cool to go up there when there's stars out so you could see through the telescope. It's pretty powerful, and it's a really old telescope. I'm sure you can look up all the history of it, but I don't remember. But I remember it being really neat. I think if I remember right, there's also a library in the Round Tower. And there's bathrooms, which is super, super convenient. It does cost money to go up in the Round Tower, but not very much. I think it was like $4 USD dollars. If I remember right. I remember it wasn't very expensive. Let's see. Oh, okay. So then these things are probably not in order. I think we spent 3 days there, which was a good amount of time, but I think I would have spent more time there. I don't feel like I saw absolutely everything that I would have wanted to see. So yeah, 3 days is enough time, but you could definitely spend more time in Copenhagen and in Denmark in general. We did not even scratch the surface of what is available. We did take the public transportation several times. Super amazing public transportation. Just so you know, we bought a ticket for, I think it was good for 3 days, and they don't really check, like it says you have to be able to present your ticket if asked, but you don't have to like scan it or run it through anything. They're very trusting there. So you could theoretically not buy a ticket and risk, you know, we were never asked to see ours, but I wouldn't, because one, I'm just super honest and I wouldn't do that. And two, if you do get caught, if they ask to see your ticket and you don't have it, there's a pretty hefty fine. So we did the right thing and bought the ticket for the whole, and this covers the underground, which I don't remember what it's called, and the bus system. So you can take the bus and the underground. And there's also tons of bikes there. So if you're there during a nice time of the year, definitely bike everywhere, because I think you can rent a bike for pretty cheap. And the biking culture there is insane. And there's bike lanes absolutely everywhere. So with bike signals, like it's for real. It's for cyclists. Like it's a cyclist dream. Okay, so gotta keep going. We watched the changing of the guard, and because the queen was in the palace or whatever, she was in, there's a word for this, but I can't remember what it is. She was there. And so when she's there, the changing of the guard is more elaborate. So you got this whole like marching into the square and band playing, and it lasted, I want to say it lasted 30 minutes. It lasted a really long time, so I won't bore you with that, but I'll give you a little sample of what went on. So then, oh, I forgot, in Nyhavn, at that sausage place, there was this ketchup bladder. Like, well, all the condiments had it like this, but you squeeze this, like, it reminded me of a cow nipple, how to milk a cow, but it was ketchup. So I took a little video of it because I thought it was really funny. And I got too much ketchup because I was trying to get the film, but whatever. It was funny to me. Yeah, so there's that. So then we went to this restaurant called Baest, which I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Baest, which is actually, it just means beast in English. And it's really good pizza. The pizza oven came from Italy. Like they brought it brick by brick and built it there. It was insane. The food, it was so good. They have a farm and they milk their cows every day and bring the fresh milk and cream to the restaurant to make things with it. So we got the burrata, which is cheese, freshly made cheese. It's like mozzarella, but different somehow. I don't remember how it's different, but if you're a cheese person, you know. It was so good. Like this is just this ball of cheese with olive oil and pepper and salt. And we just ate it, like ate the whole thing. It was so good. It was really good. And then we had another thing, and I tried to find it on the menu, but they changed their menu seasonally, so it wasn't on there anymore. But it was like a, I can't remember, some type of puree with some things and some fried, why can't I think of the word? I don't remember, but whatever. You can try and see what it is from the picture. And then we got a pizza because they're famous for their pizza. Their pizza was so good. And the restaurant was really cute. It was more expensive than the other places that we had been. That's one of the reasons why we got the sausages a lot, because they were the cheapest thing. And that's a thing there, like hot dogs and sausages, they have the stands even when it's not Christmas market time. Like they have carts everywhere that have hot dogs, so you can do that. We actually got one from one of the stands because it was this bread, like hollowed out baguette with mayo inside the whole, like they hollowed it out and stuck mayo in there, and then they stick a big hot dog in there too. So we got that for the experience. It wasn't as good as the Christmas market stand, but it was delicious. Like it was still good, but not as good. So then we went to this park on our way. We wanted to go see the Little Mermaid because I wanted to. And that's another Instagram spot. She is a very small statue. You will hear this, and it's true, but it was worth it to me. I'm glad that I went and saw it. Unlike the Mona Lisa, which was really, 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 really overrated. The Little Mermaid, getting there was cool. It's in a garden type area, and so that's pretty. And you see the harbor, which is pretty, and then you have the statue, which is cool. So I'm glad I went, but it was crowded. There were a lot of people trying to get pictures. So just be aware of that that's a thing. But on our way to the Little Mermaid, we basically walked really far to get there. And I wanted to kill Aaron because, like, seriously, like, when are we gonna get there? I don't know how far we walked, but we walked really long, like a long way to get there. But on our way, we walked through this park that had a windmill, and it was really pretty. So there's like a moat and the windmill up on the hill, and so there's water all the way around. So you had to like go across this bridge and then go back. It was an adventure, let's just say that. But it was really cool, and I got some really neat pictures out of it. So that was something that we did that I would recommend, especially if it's a nice day, to go for a walk in that park. And I don't know the name of it. It just has a giant windmill, so maybe if you Google Copenhagen windmill, you'll come up with it. But we made our way to the Little Mermaid, and like I said, you see a view of the harbor. You get pictures of this statue of the Little Mermaid that's really, like, it's a really beautiful statue actually, and she's sitting on top of this rock in the water, and yeah, she's small but mighty mighty woman. Sorry, I'm saying a lot. Okay, so 2 more things, stick with me. Tivoli Gardens, we went there because we heard that it had an amazing Christmas market. It cost so much money to get into Tivoli, and none of the rides were going, and I don't think the rides would be included in the admission fee anyway. And it was just really overrated. So I'm gonna do you a favor and just skip it. Seriously, skip Tivoli. It is not worth it. The Christmas market itself, not great. Overpriced, excuse me, admission to get in, and it was just, here's some pictures of it, but honestly, I would skip it. It's not worth the money. If you're not counting your money and you just want to see it, fine, but it was not worth it to me. I would not have spent any time there at all. It was very underwhelming. So the last place that I do highly, highly, highly recommend, although I'm a little bit, I don't know, it's hard for me to recommend this place because I don't want it to be overrun with tourists, but how many people actually watch this? So it probably won't be, but it's such a treasure, and I don't want to ruin it by having a bunch of tourists go there. So don't be if you go there, be a good steward, be a good person, and just respect their rules and be a good person. But it's called La Bunchina, and it is a little cafe, and it's kind of off the beaten path. We took a bus to get there, and it's this cute little cafe, not a lot of seating space, but you guys, it's right on the harbor, and they have a sauna. And for €1, I think it's 1 or 2 euros, you can get time in the sauna. And they say sauna is how they pronounce it. It was so amazing. So they don't have changing rooms, and you cannot change in the restaurant. So you're just gonna have to change in the middle of nature, which we did. And I actually cheated and changed in the restaurant because I'm a terrible person. But yeah, I definitely saw people changing, and it wasn't a big deal. But one of the cool things about this is because it's right on the harbor, you can spend time in the sauna, and then you can go and jump in the harbor. and there are these houseboats all over, and they tell you like you can't scream if you're gonna jump in the water. It's really, really, really cold, and you don't scream because you're gonna disrupt the neighbors, so just don't do it. You just have to like I did not jump in the water because it was so cold out that night. I just couldn't do it. I could not bring myself to do it. I'm kind of sad that I didn't, but I just couldn't. But La Bunchina, the food is so good. Really, really good. Like farm to table, like they have their own greenhouse there. Really good food, decent prices, off the beaten path. There was only locals there, no tourists. And then the sauna afterwards with the harbor is just beautiful. So highly recommend. That was our last night in Copenhagen that we went there, and I'm really glad we did. It was magical. Really, it was. If I ever get to go back to Copenhagen, I will absolutely go to La Bunchina because that was one of my favorite places that we went. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this and got some good information. I will link list all of the places that we stayed, the place that we stayed and the places we went in the description box below. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment because it helps me out. Thanks so much. I really appreciate you watching, and again, I hope everyone's doing okay during this unprecedented time. Take care.